Welcome back to the Cricket Today podcast on Monday, February 19. We're back after another crazy India versus England test match. I'm your host, Leo McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy, here with Leo Mullaly. He loves an England loss. How you going, Leo?
Yeah, pumped up, Stats Guy. England lost. How good. Hopefully it's the start of many more for Bazball, but we'll touch on that later.
We will touch on that. We're also here with Marcus Bazzano. Briefly heard he had a few drop catches against the on his bowling over the weekend. How you going, Marcus?
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing all right. It's just good to see an England collapse.
Yes. We were going for India a little bit in that third test there. Today we're going to cover a huge wrap of that third test in Rajkot between India and England. We've gone through the best scores, some records were broken and things like that. So there's plenty to talk about. Have our signature yeah and ahs. We've got one talking mainly about England and how they're going about their cricket at the moment. Then we're going to finish off with our overall series predictions from here. We've got a 5-test series, 3 tests down, India leading 2-1. So it's been a great series so far, and we'll cover all bases for this series. Let's get right into it, lads. A bit of a match wrap of the third test. India, England, what do you got for us there, Leo? What were the scores in a pretty one-sided test match in the end?
Yeah, it was in the end. So India batted first, 445 on the board. A few early wickets for England, and I think we were watching an office stats guy, and we thought, oh, hello, this could be a bit of a slog. But Rohit Sharma, 131, Jadeja, 112. Awesome partnership. Just really put it back on the English bowlers. Sarfaraz Khan coming in with 62 of 66, and I think he scored another quick 550 in the second innings too.
Awesome debut, yeah.
Yeah, and then England, well, they were 2 for 207, I think, overnight. Duckett was smoking them, and really it was game on, and you thought, oh, England could get a bit of a lead here, and then they just collapsed and sort of stumbled to 319. Duckett was brilliant, though, wasn't he? 153. I picked the wrong opener. I said Crawley was going to dominate, but Duckett was awesome. And, yeah, from there, India just said, look, we are at home. You're not. So here you go. I'm just going to smack you out the park. And JS, 214 of 236. Who is this bloke, by the way? Do we know who he is?
Well, now we do. I think everyone in the world knows who he is now. He got the most sixes, equal most sixes in a test match with 12. I thought someone else would have had that record. He had 12 sixes. A few of them were off, Junior. He's just awesome, isn't he, Jason? Bloody hell. He's come out of nowhere, Marcus.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I reckon Adam Gilchrist would have been pretty stiff. I reckon he might have held that record for sixes in a test match.
I think beforehand. He was 10 or 11. I've had a look at this before. Let's have a quick look while you...
But, geez, there were some very questionable decisions, particularly from the English batsmen throughout that test match, wasn't there, Leo?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's all right, Marcus, because they played the way they wanted to play, and that's a moral victory for them to put on them. As long as they played in an entertaining manner, so that's all that matters. And they could have maybe gone for a draw, but they went for the win, and it worked out brilliantly for them. So sucked in England.
Yeah,
the moral victory is they didn't lose by 500. They lost by 434 in the end.
Well, yeah, that 434, which we'll quickly touch on. They made 319. Then they got bowled out for 122, that's horrible effort in the last innings when you're chasing 500 plus. So they lost by 434 runs, which is the biggest ever win by runs in Indian Test history. They've had 577 tests, and they go, here you go, England. Here's our biggest ever win. So they've absolutely slapped them across the face there. Which is, absolutely crazy. Duckett was really good. Jadeja I want to touch on because I predicted him for man of the match. If you want to go back through the archives, Jadeja 112 in the first innings, 7 wickets in the match, a 5 in the second innings. Do you reckon he deserved the man of the match over Jaiswal?
He's a bit stiff, wasn't he, Jaiswal? It's not. I mean, at the same time, it's not his fault that he's not an all-rounder, but it's not very often that someone scores a double century for your country and you don't get awarded man of the match.
Yeah, I think I agree there. It's a bit of especially a runner ball, like a runner ball. Like that's insane. Like normally you hit 100 off a runner ball and you might slow down a little bit, but not at all. And Jadeja, look, he's probably one of the most complete players in the world. So sort of a typical performance from him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm going to get it straight into the slog of the weekend, lads, because we've talked about JS. Well, 214, obviously, hit 12 sixes. He has to be the slog of the weekend. No one else, other than Duckett maybe, but I'm going to go someone from the winning team. He was slapping Jimmy Anderson. The actual slog of the weekend would be Jimmy Anderson hitting bombs both sides of the wicket. Was absolutely awesome. Poor Jimmy, he's probably feeling his age in that match. He was getting absolutely smacked around. Yeah, and then he obviously had the equal most sixes in Test history, which was pretty cool as well. That's the slog of the weekend there. We've also got the howler of the weekend. Leo, if you want to go through that, maybe that was a bit of a honourable mention as well.
Yeah, so this was quite good. So Jadeja, 99, not out, batting with Sarfaraz Khan on debut. They're up and about. Sarfaraz Khan has made a runnable 60. Everything's going great, and the senior player, Jadeja, getting a little bit hungry, is hitting it. Couldn't hit it more directly to the fielder than what he did, and he's just hasn't called a direct no. He's absolutely sold Sarfaraz Khan down the absolute hill, and he's run out on his Test debut. one ball later, Jadeja hits a single or whatever, makes his century, and hits everyone with the sword celebration. I think that sword was going straight into Sarfaraz Khan's back, because that was an absolute betrayal. And you know what? I actually think JS should have won man of the match, because Jadeja robbed Sarfaraz Khan of his first century on debut. So there you go.
That's a good call. All right, we might have to have two then. I said honourable mention. That's better than an honourable mention. That's probably howler of the weekend. But do you want to read out the other one, Marcus? Bellend of the weekend.
Bellend of the weekend. So an absolute tool was Johnny Bairstow. He got given out LBW for a duck. He was on a duck at the time, and he's reviewed it, and it's surprise, going halfway up middle.
That was a horrible review, yeah.
I know they had 3 reviews, but come on, he never thinks he's out. Like, he just walked down the other end of the crease. He's just a total tool. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's going for, like, the most ducks in the series or something, Johnny Bairstow, because he was horrible. I want to throw out another honourable mention. The Joe Root. What are you thinking? What are you reverse scooping Jasprit Bumrah, who's tailing the ball into you, and you're just hitting it, catching practice to second slip? You're an absolute flog. Absolute flog. And this will, I'm telling you, this will lead into our perfectly. But some of the English batsmen,
I think a lot of the old English players were tweeting. Like, I think it was Michael Vaughan was tweeting out. Then Piers Morgan also always on the Twitter Twitter sphere. He's always talking
about Bellend of the week.
He's of the decade, I reckon. But he was saying about it's just great that it doesn't matter if this is happening because the skipper's portraying the way we want to play. And then Michael Vaughan goes, no team in the history of cricket wants their skipper going out like that when they've lost a lot of wickets. All right, it's time to knuckle down. But Joe Root, I don't know. He's lost a bit of his identity the last couple of years, Joe Root. And if he's going to change the way he plays, I don't see why that's good for their team at all when he's one of the best just techniques and cricketers in the world when he's at his best, and he's trying to do these weird shots. Yeah, so you're spot on with that, Marcus. We've had 3 howlers and Bellends of the week, and so there's lots to talk about. Why don't we get into the nars, because we're talking about their batting, lads. I'll bring it up. This is the start of Bazball collapsing. Yeah, nah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm going for it. Why not? Because I just think the batting lineup, Joe Root is fairly a traditional batsman. And Bazball is a very forward-thinking, fast 360 sort of bat face display sort of approach. And I just don't think he really suits that. And particularly, he can probably play sort of Bazball on decent pitches, especially that aren't spinning that often. But in India, I feel like it's very tough. You got a very young and experienced squad. You got Johnny Bairstow, who's a flog. And you've got a fairly long tail in this Test match, considering, after Ben Stokes, you got Folkes and then the bowlers, really. And they're not very handy with the bat, as they've shown over this series, even though Mark Wood made 30-odd.
He was the top scorer. I'm just looking at Mark Wood was the top scorer. That's unbelievable.
I think it is collapsing because I don't think they've got the power with the ball anymore to back it up.
Yep.
To back up, if they sort of have a little collapse in Bazball for, Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad to save the day, with Broad obviously retired and Jimmy Anderson very much in the twilight of his career, as he has been for the past 5 years. I just don't. I think they've probably got one of the worst bowling attacks in the top nations of cricket. So
Okay.
Australia have a better bowling attack. India have a better bowling attack. New Zealand have a better bowling attack. They probably have a better bowling attack than South Africa, let's be fair, even though they're all playing in.
Well, South Africa at their best, maybe not. But
South Africa at their best, no way.
Yeah.
So I don't see it working if they want to be like the number one test squad in ICC rankings. I don't see it.
Nah, fair call. Leo, what do you got?
I'm going to disagree. I think it's a bit reactive. They were 2 for 207 in the first innings, which
they got bowled out for 122. Leo, can you 500?
Can you remember the last time Australia were 2 for 207 in India?
That's true.
I don't think you can pinpoint an Australian batting innings that was or that has been as good as England's this series. Like, let's be real. Like, England have had some really good innings. I know they collapsed this test. They might collapse again in the upcoming tests, but I still think there's something there to work with, especially with, I think there's a bigger gap like coming with Australia, England, India on the top and the rest below. You touched on England's bowling, but I think that's just because they don't have many good spinners for India at the moment. I think they're definitely more suited to pace. So, look, I just think from here, it's on a knife's edge, and I think I just want to wait and not be too reactive with it.
No, fair. They've actually had a lot of series where they've sort of gone, oh, we were so close. Oh, we could have had this. Oh, we could have had that. If our middle order just made a couple more runs and we didn't play a reverse sweep ramp shot 6 off our head, like we would have won or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to say no as well. I think Joe Root is the epitome of this Bazball, where I don't think everyone in your batting 11 needs to play Bazball. I think definitely you could have 5 or 6 players and then 1 or 2 batters in the middle going, all right, if we lose a few wickets like they did on the weekend, then we knock it down a bit and things like that. I think they can adjust it, but it's sort of like Ange Ball in the Premier League. They're never going to change it. It's sort of like Tottenham in the Premier League for your soccer and football fans out there, how they're just going to always play like this and it's going to be for better or worse. And they're trying to slowly get better, but I don't see it getting any better. I think it'll be interesting to see if they win the next test or something like that, then people will be talking about the opposite. But yeah, I think India could win this series pretty comfortably from here.
Look, but you mentioned like how some players, not every player in that batting lineup has to play Bazball. I think we're going to compare it to Australia because we're Australian. But I think that's something that we do particularly well. Like, we've got Usman Khawaja, we've got Marnus, we got Smitty who will really start to knuckle down, even though a couple of them aren't in the best of form. But we've also got those attacking mind of players that can switch it on and have that Bazball sort of approach with Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh.
Warner when he at his best,
Warner at his best, like depends what country he's playing in, but I think that's something that we sort of sway with really nicely. Whereas I think with Bazball, I think they're just getting a little bit too carried away with the title at the moment.
No, I'll agree with that one. All right, series predictions from here, lads. India are leading it 2-1 at the moment through 3 tests. It's a 5-test series. What do you guys reckon the series is going to be from here? We'll go with you, Leo, first.
It's a bit of a. It was tough before this series. I think it's easy to lean on India now, and I think they will win. But I'm still. I know they were really, really bad, but I still think there's something there for England.
Yep.
There's no Kohli, and I just think they can just get them again. There'll be a chance to get India again. It is hard, though, after that performance to say they'll win another test. So I'm going to go India win the series 4-1. After I've settled that, I'm going to say 4-1.
But you think it'll be pretty close. Yeah, that's right.
I just think if England, that there'll be an opportunity for them to win another test, I think.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. What do you reckon, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going on the back of that as well, Leo. I think, 4-1, but I don't think that'll be a fair representation of how England sort of travelled throughout the series.
Yep.
Although they did get whitewashed in the last match, I do think the difference is the bowling attacks, because they're obviously missing some class batsmen, India, and then that will probably put them on par with England at the moment, considering that's their home country in India. But it's the bowling that's the difference for me. When you got like Ravi Ashwin and Jadeja with the spin, whereas you got Tom Hartley, who has impressed for England so far this series. He's been really good, but they're just not comparable, are they? Really, when you compare those two spin attacks. So
those spinners at home as well are just unbelievable. Yeah. So you're going 4-1 as well?
Yeah, 4-1 as well, India.
I know I was bagging England. I'm going to lean 3-2. I think Leo's got a point in that England. If they took their chances, I know I sound like I'm from England now saying this. If they took their chances, I reckon they could have won it. Yeah, a match. They're going to win. I think they could win the next match of the last one. Looking at the different venues and things like that. So I reckon it's going to be 3-2. The way they play, it's going to be either really bad or really good. Just because it's not going to be in between. I don't think they could either get smashed or they could either win just because of that attacking mindset. If that attacking mindset pays off, they obviously can win big, but if it doesn't, they can get smashed by record amounts like they showed on the weekend. So I'm going to go 3-2. I think they can snag a sneaky victory. They did drop. There was another part of the match that cost them. Joe Root dropped Rohit Sharma. I forgot what he was on, but then he went on to make 100. So if little things like that go their way in one of the next few tests, I think they can easily snag a test match, win like the first test. So I'm going to go 3-2. So it's a bit of a closer series than the 4-1. All right, lads. So you guys, we're all in on India, but it'll be hopefully another really good test match. I think it's at the end of the week, the next one. So we'll be back for that one. And that's it for the Cricket Today show. We'll be back with this show on Wednesday for Australia versus New Zealand T20 series that's starting then. So get right around the show. Subscribe on your podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Like and review it, would ya? Chuck a follow to Cricket Today and Cricket Today AU all over the socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Check out Football Today and Football Today AU, Football Today Pod on all the socials and YouTube and Spotify as well. We've been doing some podcasts for that about the EPL, Matildas, and soccer and football all over the world. Send in any questions via the socials, anything you want to chat to us about. That's it, I think. Thank you, Marcus.
Cheers, Stats Guy.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Stats Guy.
Thanks, Gerald, for producing. Thanks to me. And that's another episode of Cricket Today done. We're out.